Russian President Vladimir Putin accuses bumbling Biden of persecuting Trump supporters. In this video, we take a look at the latest blow across Biden's bow from Putin, how President Trump is trolling Biden's upcoming summit with Putin, and how all the attempts of Biden to demonize Russia are only blowing up in his face. You're not going to want to miss this. Greetings, everyone. Dr. Steve here with you. Great to be with you. As always, we are your daily fake news antidote. As each and every day, we provide patriotic analysis to help you to think better so you can feel better in these crazy and turbulent times. So if you haven't done so, you know what to do. Make sure to smack that bell and subscribe. But before we jump into things here, let's give a huge shout out to the sponsor of this video, and that is Collagen, available at my special website, healthwithsteveturley.com. Many health experts now agree that consuming collagen helps to renew and revitalize how you look and how you feel. Taking collagen regularly can revitalize your body, can make your skin, bones, even your hair look and feel more healthy and youthful. And now, if you click on that link below today, you're going to get up to 51% off your order. So don't wait. Click on that link below today. Get your own collagen supply. You'll be glad that you did. All right, guys. Let's dive right in here. We have an amazing development with this upcoming summit between Russian President Vladimir Putin and Sleepy Joe. Okay, the two leaders are scheduled to meet in Geneva, Switzerland on Wednesday, but it's already being widely reported that Putin will be pressing Biden on what Putin perceives to be human rights violations being perpetrated against Trump supporters who attended the mostly peaceful protests at the U.S. Capitol on January 6th. The Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov has pointed out in recent weeks how U.S. authorities are ironically violating human rights of their own dissidents, which of course they're always accusing Russia of doing. Lavrov said, quote, "We are ready to talk. We have no taboo topics. We will discuss whatever we think is necessary. We'll be ready to answer the questions that the American side will raise. This also applies to human rights. For example, we're following with interest the persecution of those persons who were accused of the riots on January 6th this year." And Lavrov added, quote, "A lot of really interesting things are happening from the point of view of the rights of the opposition and protecting those rights in the United States." Now, of course, what he's referring to here is what Big League Politics has reported on for some time now, how certain January 6th Trump protesters are being treated like enemy combatants by jackboots who've been gaslighted by media propaganda depicting the patriots as terrorists and white supremacists. One of the defendants being charged for allegedly participating in the Capitol riot said, quote, "Myself and others involved in the January 6th incidents are scared for our lives, not from each other, but from correctional officers complaining that they're being treated like terrorists and enemy combatants. I do not understand how this is remotely acceptable," close quote. Now, what Lavrov is accusing bumbling Biden and the Democrats of doing, bumbling Biden, sounds like a rock and roll band, a bad one at that, bumbling Biden and the Dems. But what he's accusing them of doing is absolutely right. What Biden and the Democrats have been doing here with the January 6th riots is something scholars refer to as weaponized legalism, okay? That's a technical term for the politicalization of the law, weaponized legalism. A weaponized legal regime, which we now live in thanks to the Democrats, uses the law to deliberately undermine their political opponents, strengthen themselves and their allies, and use the law to show off their power to threaten and to intimidate. And that's precisely what the Democrat Party has become. They've become a weaponized legal regime that uses the law as a political weapon. So, for example, Democrats care nothing about enforcing immigration law at the southern border, but they care everything about vaccine passports, right? They don't give a rip about their law enforcement responsibilities during the whole George Floyd riots over the summer, but now suddenly they're the great defenders of the nation against these January 6th insurrectionists. This is weaponized legalism. It's the intentional use of the law to persecute their political opponents and intimidate everyone else, all the while securing their own position of power. But of course, President Trump and his supporters are hardly intimidated. In fact, President Trump trolled Biden on his upcoming meeting with President Putin, saying in an email, quote, "Good luck to Biden in dealing with President Putin. Don't fall asleep during the meeting. And please give him my warmest regards. Hilarious! Hey, Sleepy Joe, try to stay awake during the meeting, will you? I'm sure you're really going to intimidate President Putin. Ooh. I mean, seriously, can you even imagine the conversations they're having in the Kremlin right this very minute? Can you even imagine? I mean, if you were down the hall from where they were meeting, I mean, just try to fathom the laughter that you would hear coming out of the meeting room with Putin's advisors strategizing what they're going to be doing with this woke administration that gets triggered over the wrong use of pronouns, for heaven's sakes. So that said, it's no wonder that the media is doing everything they possibly can to try to prop up Sleepy Joe. Did you see this from the left-wing activist disguised as journalists over at Time magazine? This is pathetic. They featured a picture of Biden with his freaking aviators on, his Terminator aviators, to try to actually make this near octogenarian look cool, next to freaking Putin, who, I don't care where you stand on the guy, he is the real deal. I mean, he is one cool dude. Putin is cool. Biden? I mean, it's sad. So Time is getting roasted for trying to obviously gaslight this whole thing ahead of time to try to desperately make it look like Biden has the upper hand here in terms of coolness. One pundit pointed out that Time actually had to feature an illustration of Biden, since a high-definition photo would reveal how weak and feeble he actually is. Regardless, obviously, Putin is demonstrating some pretty clever geopolitics here. He's recognizing that the United States, under the democratic regime, has become increasingly totalitarian and authoritarian, and he's exploiting that by putting Biden on the defensive before he can do anything to try to push back against Russia and the way Putin's regime handles political dissent. One of the things that will most likely come up is Russia's treatment of their most prominent dissident, Alexei Navalny, who is supposedly poisoned and has since been sentenced to prison for 3.5 years for violation of probation. And they're also designating his political movement as an extremist group. So one of the things we've got to get here, however, and I think this is very important for us to understand, while the so-called international community may be absolutely outraged over this, you need to know most Russians aren't. Most Russians don't believe that he was poisoned, and they don't support him or his movement. And according to Russian studies professor Paul Robinson, do you know why? You want to take a guess why most Russians don't buy the whole Navalny saga or movement? Because the America media wants them to. The Russian public rejects Navalny precisely because our mainstream Marxist media supports him. And whatever our media supports, the Russian public largely rejects. And so, it doesn't look very good for Biden heading into this. He's weak. Everyone on the political planet knows he's weak. And Putin, in openly defending Trump supporters and rioters at the Capitol, is frankly demonstrating precisely just how weak Biden really is. Now, before you go, you definitely want to check out my latest video. I just uploaded it. I love this one. It's on how the state of Texas is now officially building Trump's wall. We just got an announcement from the governor himself. You are going to absolutely love this. So make sure to click on the link, and I'll see you over there. God bless.